welcome back to Fingerstyle Ukulele with me, Matt Stead. In today's video we're going to look at a beautiful piece of music by the indie band R.E.M. The reason we're looking at this one today is to introduce some finger picking patterns that you can do as an accompaniment to when you're singing or if you're accompanying a singer. Now don't worry, if singing isn't your thing, the skills that you learn today will be really useful in your chord melody fingerstyle playing as well. And we're going to play some beautiful fragments of chord melody as you saw there. Before we do anything else, let's take a listen to how the piece sounds so you can come back and use this as a play along and you can get an idea of how the piece works. Night swimming deserves a quiet night. The photograph on the dashboard taken years ago turned around backwards so the windshield shows every street light reveals a picture in reverse. Still it's so much clearer. I forgot my shirt at the water's edge. The moon is low tonight. Night swimming deserves a quiet night. I'm not sure all these people understand. It's not like years ago, the fear of getting caught, of recklessness and water. They cannot see me naked. These things, they go away, replaced by everyday night swimming. Remembering that night, September's coming soon. I'm pining for the moon. And what if there were two, side by side in orbit around the fairest sun? That bright tide, forever drum, could not describe night swimming. You are what I knew you. You I cannot judge. You are what you knew me. This one laughing quietly underneath my breath. Night swimming. Photograph reflects every street light, a reminder. Night swimming deserves a quiet night. Deserves a quiet night. You'll notice then that this piece is like a coming together between arpeggio fingerpicking and little snippets of chord melody. And let's take a look at the introduction first, which kind of introduces one of these little kind of snippets of chord melody. And we're replicating what R.E.M do with the piano here. And if you play your ukulele in the correct way, which I'm going to teach you today, we can develop an almost piano-like tone, which is something we're after. So make sure you use at a 45-degree angle, using just your fingertips to play the notes with your fretting hand, and with your picking hand we're coming over the top of the ukulele, a nice arch, and we want roughly a 45-degree angle here, so not like this, not like this. That will allow you to pick up quite freely this end. And by playing here between where the sound hole and the body of the ukulele meets the neck, we'll get the warmest tone called dolce. It's that sweet piano tone that we're after today. You can use your nails to pick if you have them, but finger pads are absolutely fine as well. So what's happening in this intro is really simple. Quite simply, we're playing a G major chord. Okay, just your bog standard G major chord, and we're picking out a pattern: C string, E string, G string, E string again. Okay, that's the start. Now I'm going to associate a finger per string, so my thumb is going to take any note that's on the G string, index finger on the C string, middle finger on the E string, and finally the ring finger on the A string. So that allows me to pick out these first four notes with almost no movement at all, just very small finger movements with my picking hand. After that we play an open A. You can take your chord off at that point because it gives you a chance to change. We pop down a C chord, and you can either finger pick all four strings at the same time like this, or I actually prefer to do a little nail brush down. Any of your nails on your picking hand, just strum over the strings. That will give you this sound. Now you notice on your sheet music we have a little indicator of a tap tap, and that's just replicating something that happens on the original, where there's a tap on the piano. You can do that. Some people like to use their knuckles of their picking hand on the ukulele. I like to just use the kind of fleshy part of my thumb on this side, and I just tap it twice against my ukulele. Now I'm not too fussed about timbre and tone here. If you want a really deep sound, try tapping the bridge. That'll give you a really deep tone like this. That's lovely, isn't it? But if you're not too fussed about tone, tapping up here means that your hand is still quite close to the strings for when you go into the next bit. And the next bit, we basically do exactly the same thing, only this time we resolve to the D chord. And again, you can add some taps in there if you like. If we put that together, isn't that lovely? A little short introduction to the song, and we're going to use that later on in the instrumental part as well. This song's in the key of G, so really common chords there. We've got the G chord setting out the storm, 4 chord for a bit of change, and then in the next part the D chord, the 5 chord, G, A, B, C, D. It's almost like it's asking a question, isn't it, at the end of that intro, which is answered when we go back to the G chord at the start of the picking. So that takes us into the main body of the song, whereby we play a picked accompaniment to the vocals. And I've chosen a really simple finger picking pattern on this one, just to keep it nice and simple, and it really suits the song as well. So any song that's in 4/4 time, which this song is, common time, we need to pick either 4, 8, 16, 32 times per measure. We basically need to divide it equally. And I quite like picking 8 times a measure. Those are sometimes called 8th notes or 8 beats. That means that we put a pick on the on beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the offbeats 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and hence 8 per measure. Now I quite like to do a very simple inside-outside finger picking pattern. Quite simply what we're doing is we're playing the C string followed by the E string, the middle 2 strings, followed by the outside 2 strings, hence inside, outside, inside, outside. Now to get a really lovely consistent mellow tone on that C string, which is your thickest string, I actually like to use my thumb on both the C string and the G string. So if I highlight that with a G chord, I'll talk about this G chord in a minute, but let's just do a bog standard G chord. I'm using my thumb to pick down on the C string. I'm using either my index or middle, whichever finger really, to pick up on the E string. Then I pick down on the G string with my thumb, and then up on the A string with one of my fingers again. I like to use my ring finger there. So I'm going thumb, finger, C string, E string, G string, A string, inside, outside, inside, outside. Now a lovely way to practice this is just hold down, say, a G chord and just really get into the rhythm of playing that round and round. Really relax into it. If you can get to a point where you can talk to someone whilst you're doing it, just like I am with you now, you know you've mastered it. Inside, outside. Now the reason I like to use my thumb on the C string and G string is that when I pick down on the C string, it has a mellower tone when I pick down with my thumb than it does when I pick up with my index finger. It might not pick that up on the video because it's very subtle, but a mellower note there as opposed to that note coming up. And have an experiment, you'll hear it better on your own ukulele than you will on mine. That mellowness, it also means that the thumb picks on the C and the G string almost provide like a background to the finger picks that come up, which is really sweet. So have a little practice of that round and round, get really comfortable with it, perhaps pause the video. When you're ready, let's have a look at the chord changes that we have going on here. Now there's something interesting that I've done with this arrangement. You'll notice that the G chord, if you have a look at the tablature, I'm actually really playing a G sus2 chord. What's a G sus2 chord? Well, it means that we take a normal G major chord and we lift off the finger that's on the A string. It's called a G sus2 chord because we're adding the second note of the G major chord. A G major chord is G, B and D, and we're replacing that B, the third note, with the second note. So instead of playing a B, I'm playing an A, and that's what's happening by lifting our finger off here. So in effect, we hold down a G chord, but we take our finger off the A string, and when we pick, it creates a kind of almost like quite an effervescent, is that even a word? Quite a kind of floaty and restless sounding major chord, which is really lovely. Now occasionally I forget or I just get lazy and I'll just play a normal G for that measure, and that's fine as well. It doesn't make a massive difference to the sound, but if you want to play it as I do, we're going to use that G sus2 chord. I've noted it as just a plain J on your sheets, but lift that finger off if you can. Then we go to a normal C chord, the 4 chord, and we immediately change to a D major chord. So notice 2 lots of that funny G chord, 2, 1 C. Now, if you're just starting to get used to fingerstyle, it's really important that this right hand plays in time. I can't stress that enough. So if your chord changes aren't quite there yet, allow yourself to go wrong with this hand and keep picking no matter what. I'll give you an example. So if I'm not quite ready for the D chord, it might sound something like this. I wasn't quite there on that first beat, but my right hand kept picking no matter what. What you want to avoid is this. because by putting little pauses between the chords, you're kind of teaching yourself to play out of time. And it's really, really important that this picking hand becomes like a metronome. So be easy with yourself. Allow yourself to go wrong with this hand. If the chord isn't there yet, just keep picking no matter what. So that gives us a funny G chord twice, C chord, and D chord. Then we go to another one of those G chords. Again, little finger off the A string if you can. Now my favourite change in this piece of music, which is really beautiful, we have a C major chord followed by a ninth chord, an A9. Now I don't want to bore you too much with the theory here, but ninth chord is just a normal seventh chord like A7 with the ninth note of the scale added. And you might think, well, yeah, but scales only go up to 7. But just imagine you kept counting. So when you've gone all the way through the A major scale and you get to 7, imagine you've gone 8, 9. So the ninth note would be a B note. And that's what's happening. We're just adding a B note to this A7 chord. So it looks like this, 0, 1, 0, 2. The reason that works beautifully is you have something called voice leading, whereby this high C note in the C major chord is only half step away or 1 fret away from the B note in the A9, and that's what makes this part sound so delicious. Isn't that lovely? And then we take away this first finger for a C major 7, just leave your third finger where it is. And then the tension of the 5 chord comes in one more time. And the entire song, we just keep repeating that round and round. Let's have a practice of that. Come in after 3 and 4 and. 3 and 4 and. C and D. G. C. A9. C major 7. Try that one more time, just a little bit slower. 3 and 4 and. C and D. G. C. A9. C major 7. Isn't that beautiful, that change? And D. And that's it for the large part of the song. We're just going to keep playing that round and round and round. Some of the most beautiful songs in the world are some of the most simple, where we just have the repeats of those chords. Now it comes to singing. Now you can have a go at singing this if you want to, or you can just allow me to take the vocals and play along, or if you've got a friend that sings, you could get them to join you as well. But it's a really lovely picking pattern to enjoy even if you don't sing. Now, singing and playing this is particularly tricky because Michael Stipe was a little bit clever with the words. They kind of ebb and flow and they don't follow the normal places that they fit. So first thing, and this is really, really important for any song that you're learning, listen to the original. Get a real feel for where those lyrics fit in with the chords. So you can almost sing it off by heart without thinking about it. Then, if you want to put the vocals in, what I like to do first, and I do this myself when I'm learning a piece of music, is before I actually sing the vocals out loud, I'll just hum the tune. Da da da, da 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 da, da 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 da. What that does is it gives me one less thing to think about. I haven't got to think about the words and how they fit in, just kind of playing the melody. So if you'd like to have a go at singing and playing this one at the same time, give that a try. Play the piece all the way through, just humming the words first. With that in mind, let's try fingerpicking the first verse. So we're looking for consistency and warmth of tone with this one. It also gives us a chance to practice that lovely intro part. So what we'll do is we'll start with the intro part. That's the bit I taught you at the start. With the taps. Then we'll do our finger picking with the vocals. And at the end of the first verse, we have an interlude where we just do the intro part again. So let's practice that at the end as well. So intro part, we'll finger pick a verse and then intro part again. Let's try that all together after 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and C, tap tap, and again, D, here we go. Night swimming deserves a quiet night. Photograph on the dashboard, taken years ago, turned around backwards so the windshield shows. Every street light reveals a picture in reverse. Still it's so much clearer. I forgot my shirt at the water's edge. The moon is low tonight. And the intro part. And tap tap. Good. Fantastic, there we go. So that opens up our first part of the song. Now the whole of the rest of the song is largely based on that finger picking with the vocals, and you notice that we have kind of 2.5 verses, so quite a lot. I won't play through all that now. You can always go back to the play along or just practice yourself at home, but we just keep that finger picking pattern going. Night swimming into the next bit deserves a quiet night. Not sure all these people understand. Now after we've done those next 2.5 verses, we have that intro part one more time. And again. To the D. Then we have this really beautiful snippet of chord melody, and I'll teach you that now. This instrumental part is probably one of the hardest things we've done yet on the course. What makes it tricky is that we still have a finger picking pattern going on. And then we have a melody nestled in, and particularly in the second half, they kind of weave together and it can be quite tricky to do. So you'll notice on your sheet that some of the notes I've marked in green. The reason being that this is just the main part of the melody. This is the kind of right hand of the piano, if you like. And for any kind of chord melody where we've got chords and melody being played at the same time, I think it's really good practice to play the melody through on its own first. Kind of gets you used to the melody and the timing of it. And it also allows you to differentiate the picking part from the melody, which is important, just kind of mentally as we're playing through it. So let's have a go at that. So notice the first 2 green notes are the 2nd fret of the A string, and we play that 3 times for a B note. We come off for an open A, G at the 3rd fret for the E string, open E, and then finally a D on the C string, 2nd fret. If we put that together, I'll play it once and you copy back. In terms of notes, that's B, 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 A, G, E, D. Or if you prefer to think in terms of the tablature, 2, 2, 2, off, next string, 3, off, next string, 2. Let's give it a go. 3, 4. Fantastic. Now the next section starts the same way. We have the 3 Bs again. A, that G again. And then we have 2 notes played in quick succession, an A and an E. That's the bottom 2 strings physically played in reverse. Then we go to this beautiful passage of quick 8th notes. We play the 3rd fret of the E string for a G, and an off 2 off on the A string, A, B, A. And then we go back to that G and an E, 3 and off on the E string. And then we start a similar way again, that G, 3rd fret of the E string, and then a quick flurry of notes on the A string, off, 2, 2, 2, off, 3 on the next string, and that open A. So the last 2 notes of the first line of this instrumental will sound like this. And then into the next line. And it feels like it hasn't resolved, but when we come back to the finger picking pattern in the next section, it resolves on that chord. Let's put the whole of those 2 lines together, just the green notes. Come in after 3, 4. 3, 4. Okay. And then we do that similar thing again. Now that might take a little bit of practice, that's absolutely fine. Take your time with that and you'll soon be able to piece it together. Now if we have a look at what's happening with the kind of accompaniment part, if you like, it's almost like the frills that kind of just fill in the gaps of that melody. Well, what we're doing is we're holding down a G chord at the start and we're just playing a kind of picking pattern. We're playing the middle 2 strings, C and the E string one at a time, and then we're hitting the G string. I go back to the middle 2 strings and I play them kind of in reverse, E string, C string, E string. So notice the start of this instrumental is literally just an arpeggio. That just means the chord played one at a time on a G chord. Middle 2 strings, G, middle 2. Then I hit those melody notes. Then on the next measure, rather than doing the weaving thing that happens on measure once, we kind of hit a melody note, sometimes with a chord, and we just follow it by tapping the G string just to fill in the gap. Kind of like adding a drone note. Notice that on the first C, which is actually a C major 7, I think this is slightly misleading, I should have put C major 7 in the chord box rather than C. We're picking 0, 0, 2. So you can use 3 fingers, either your thumb and 2 fingers, or 3 fingers to pick up the bottom 3 strings physically at the same time. And then just with your thumb, just touch that G string lightly. Then we play an open A, touch the G string. 0, 3 on the middle 2 strings, I just pick with 2 fingers there. Touch the G string, open E, touch the G string. So that measure will sound like this. With practice you'll get that because it's following a pattern, isn't it? We've got a melody note followed by a tap on the G string basically. Let's put that together with the first measure, 3 and 4 and. Here we go. Yeah, fantastic. You'll get that with practice. Well done, guys. Next measure starts the same way. The melody note is part of the roll that we do. It's basically the same as the start again, isn't it? We've got those middle 2 strings in a roll. G string, middle 2. We hit those 2 2s, the B notes on the A string again. And then measure 10 starts the same way, look. We're holding down this 002. Only this time we need the sound of that A9 chord coming in. So instead of just 0-3 on the middle two strings, we've also got this 1. We put our first finger on the first fret of the C string and we pick. And immediately afterwards, you can remove your fingers and hit the bottom two strings in reverse. So that gives us. I actually like to keep that first finger where it is, just so it kind of rings out and it makes it more simple. Let me go from those two twos, those two B notes at the end of the first line of this instrumental, and we'll put together that measure. I'll play it first, it'll sound like this. Have a go with me after 3-4. 3-4. Fantastic. Now we're nearly there. We're back to that 0-3. That's the open C string and third fret of the E string. Just play the melody note. Bottom 3 open. Melody. A quick tap on a G string at the end. And then we're basically there. We're playing this D chord, but notice that my fingers ventured out into the third fret of the E string. I like to keep these fingers where they are as I just play the rest of the melody on the A string. Fantastic. I'm going to take that whole solo part through really slowly so you can play along. Come in after 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 2-2. Roll. 2-2. Fantastic. Again, if you didn't get that first time, just pause the video. It's really important to learn things slowly. So if that was still too difficult, slow it down even further. Just take it one note at a time. Normally if we go wrong on the ukulele, or any musical instrument, it's because our fingers are getting ahead of our brain. Your fingers do something where your brain hasn't quite caught up, or vice versa. So it's really important to take it super slow until it's at a pace that you find it comfortable. And then of course you can just gradually increase the tempo just a little bit each day to practice. After that lovely instrumental, we have another short part with vocals, almost as like a little refrain, which is really, really beautiful. Then finally we have an end part which I've tabbed out separately. Now it kind of works in a similar way to the instrumental part, only has a slightly different feel to it, slightly different melody. And we're going to practice this exactly the same way we did with the instrumental part. We're going to look at the melody notes first. So the melody, just like for the instrumental, starts towards the end of the first measure. We've got these 2 5 notes now. That's the 5th fret of the A string, okay, which is actually a high D note. In fact, we've got 3 if we include the note at the start of the next measure. Then we reach up to a high E note, 7th fret. We swoop back to the 3rd fret of the E string for a G note, an open A, and a B note to finish. Then we do a similar thing again where we go up to 5, back to 3, 2, off for open A, and then a G. And then we do the final phrase, G, A, B, 3, off, 2, off, G, off. And then the same as the melody we were just learning a minute ago. Let's piece that together. Let's put all of those melody notes together. So 3, 4. 5. Practice that a few times until you're really comfortable. You notice I didn't go into a lot of detail about which fingers to use. That's because when we put the chords in a minute, that will dictate which fingers we use. So let's do that. So we start off with another one of those kind of arpeggios or finger rolls to start with on G, just like we did the start of the last instrumental. Then we reach up. I like to reach up with my little finger to the 5th fret. And we do in the next measure, similar to what we did in the instrumental, where we do a melody note with a couple of extra strings picked, and then we tap the G string almost in reply. Okay. So we've reached up with our little finger to the 5th fret, haven't we? So for the 7, the high E, just move it up 2 more. That allows you then to reach back with your first finger to play this G note, the 3 on the E string, and then open A, and then we play the B note of a G chord, but I actually put the whole G chord down because then we can start the next roll. I'll do that really slowly, you can hear it once and then we'll try it together. Roll. 5, 5, pinch, 7, pinch, and then my roll. Come in after 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. We've got 2 5s at the end of the line. Then we've got this beautiful little kind of almost like a flurry of notes. Which is really beautiful. Now think about your fingerings with this one. I like to put my little finger on that 5th fret again, and you can use your thumb to pick down on the C string if it helps with this bit. Sometimes I'll use my index finger out of habit, but thumb I think is neater and it kind of gives a balance to the finger picking with our finger on the A string. So we do those 2 5s. Then you can either take your little finger back or go to your 3rd. Another one there. I go to my 2nd finger for the 2, the B note. Now notice the next one, we've also got to add our index finger down to suggest that beautiful A9 chord. And then finally we go to that G and C again. And off. So it'll sound like this. Might take a little bit of practice. Let's try that really slowly after 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and. Good. Now a little bit faster. 3 and 4 and. That might take a fair bit of practice, but you'll get that, taking it slowly. Then we're nearly there. We do another pinch at the start of measure 5. Open A and then 0, 2. A pinch. Then we do that lovely pinch with the D chord with that extra finger added to the 3rd fret of the E string. Keep these 2 where they are and just play out the melody. And then finally this time we do resolve it by pinching the top 3 strings of that G chord. That's a lovely opportunity if you wanted to practice that rolled strum we learnt in the last video, where you'll lead with your thumb, then index, then middle. So rather than H, we have a little roll. One last thing, notice that last measure we have two musical directions. We have a rit for ritandando, which means we're slowing down, and we also have a decrescendo, that arrow getting ever decreasingly small. That means that when we do that final measure, we slow down and quieten at the same time. Really ease off. So we're almost barely audible at the end. Let's put that whole solo together, that whole instrumental part, really, really slowly. 3 and 4 and. Well done, everyone. You did it! Yeah, that's basically the whole song. It's one of those pieces, isn't it, where I think I've got this right, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So all those parts are really individually wonderful, and when you put them all together, it sounds even more wonderful. And that's the reason I wanted to put this piece into the course at this moment, because it gives you a beautiful performance piece if you would like to have a try at it. We've got the finger picking with the vocals and accompaniment, we've got an intro part with even a little bit of percussion, and then we've got those snippets of chord melody which just introduce something again. So it's a lovely way to create an arrangement out of chord melody playing. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned something new. In the next video, we're going to go back to another piece of repertoire for the book. But for now, really enjoy that, get your teeth stuck into it, and let me know how you got on. Take care, everyone. I'll see you in the next video. You can.